Hey, hello, let's do some yoga. We're going to continue with our upright standing positions. We're going to do a couple of balances today. We're going to go through triangle posture, reverse triangle, half moon and reverse half moon. And then we'll continue with our practice toward a headstand. So it's going to be challenging, but you're up for the challenge. Let's get started. Tadasana, mountain posture. Draw your feet close together onto the mat or onto the ground, the earth beneath you, and start the upward elevation of the flesh from the soles of your feet, lifting up through the ankles, the shins, the calf muscles, the knees, the backs of the knees, the thighs, the hamstrings. And remember, whilst all this is lifting up on the front and the back, so too are the sides of the body. And think about lifting the insteps of the feet. You're going to create space around the pelvic girdle, around the waist. Again, the sides are lifting up as well as the front and the back. And you've got this lovely tilt of the pelvis. Avoid pushing your buttocks out one way and your chest and having this slump or collapse of the stomach muscles and a concave spine. You want to adjust that and get it nice and centered, so that your head and shoulders are directly over your hips and your head, shoulders and hips are directly over your ankles. Correct alignment, nice and straight. And although you can feel the pull of the energy down into your feet, you're also aware of the rising energy going up to the crown of your head and beyond. Unclench the teeth, tune in with your flow of breath. We're going to gently work our way into mobilizing our spine. So let's do a lateral flexion whilst we stand in Tadasana. You're going to take a nice deep inhalation. As you exhale, just allow your right hand to trace down the outer edge of the right leg. Keep your left shoulder in line with your right shoulder, so avoid collapsing forward and slumping in the stomach. You want to keep those shoulders in line with the hips. Breathe in to the center. Exhale to the other side. Breathe in to the center. Exhale to the other side, pull the tummy in, make sure the belly button is drawing back towards the spine to lend it support. You'll then release that left arm, trace it all the way up past the armpit, over and across the ear, and reach those left fingertips towards the wall to the right of you. And then breathe in, pull in as you rise up. Exhale, gracefully traveling to the other side. The left hand running down the outer edge of the left leg. The right hand tracing up past the armpit, over and across the ear. And the right fingertips stretching towards the wall to the left of you. Pull the tummy in as you re-center to Tadasana, mountain posture. A breath in through the nose and a long and complete exhalation. Breathe in, draw the hands together to the sternum, the breastbone, just above the heart, the place of all truth. Exhale, jump, step or walk the feet about 3.5 feet apart. Toes pointing to 12 o'clock. Hands In line with the shoulders, really reaching across that whole span of fingertips to fingertips. So you can really feel this organic energy now running along the arms. And be aware if you've got flesh that's just relaxing around the biceps and triceps, just power of the mind, message to the arm and tell the flesh to draw back to the muscle and the flesh and muscle to draw back and connect to the bone. So this in turn will give you nice muscle tone along the arms. Okay, so we're going to move into Trikonasana, triangle posture. This mobilises your hips, strengthens your legs and bends your spine laterally. To ensure you're doing it correctly, practice against a wall whereby you will keep the heels of your feet, your buttocks and your shoulders and back of head connected to the wall at all times. This will show you true alignment. You'll really feel the stretch. For those of you that do know Trikonasana, quite happy to practice centrally, then we'll all now pick our toes up, turn them to the left. Our left foot turns out 90 degrees. Our right foot turns in 45 degrees. You can check the positioning of the feet, the heel of the left foot in line with the right instep. Trunk of your body remains upright like a column, a pillar. There is no dropping out of alignment. The shoulders are still directly above the hips. The head is still centered directly over the shoulders and the hips. Breathe in, lift up, pull up internally, create space, and then exhale and begin to stretch to the left. You're really reaching those left fingertips to touch on the left wall before you make your descent. Now, as you lower, you will take your left hand to rest at a place on your leg that's comfortable for you. This can be on your thigh, on your shin, at the ankle. Your right arm is raised up, the right fingertips are reaching up. Breathe in and out. Be aware that your right shoulder remains stacked over your left so that both shoulders are in line with your hips. There is no dropping forward. If your right shoulder has rolled forward and you've collapsed in your stomach and your rib cage is dropping down into your stomach, that's your ego trying to take your hand down to the ankle or floor too soon. So you need to rise up in the position. Again, think about practicing against a wall. At this moment in time, your right shoulder and your right hand will still be connected with the wall. Breathe in, return to the center, turn the feet to 12 o'clock, keep the arms raised to increase your upper body strength. However, if you do need a breather, you can lower them and then you'll breathe in to raise the hands to shoulder level once again as we travel to the other side. Checking the positioning of your feet, right heel in line with left instep, both hips facing the wall in front of you. Breathe in, pull up pubis to navel, navel to breastbone, breastbone to brow, brow to crown of head, and up further. You've lifted the hips away from the two femur bones to your next inhalation, and then as you exhale, you begin to reach to the right. The reach happening from the right hip to the right armpit, all the way along that right arm to the fingertips. And then you lower, raising the left hand up. Take a nice deep breath in through the nostrils, and then you can turn the trunk of the body. So the right hand side, the flesh moves round to meet the belly button, and the belly button moves towards the left. And it opens the chest, the left hand side of the chest, to draw up towards the ceiling. Remember, if you're practicing against a wall at the moment, then your left shoulder and left hand, the knuckles, the fingers, will still be connected with the wall. Breathe in Pulling the tummy in to lend support to the spine as you return to that central position. Okay, so that was Trikonasana to both sides. Now we are going to do reverse Trikonasana. Take a nice deep breath in through the nostrils and let go of that breath fully and completely. We're going to pick our toes up. We're going to turn them to the left. We're going to bring our right hand round to meet our left hand. Now you might want to step that right foot, your back foot, just out a little wider so that your right hip can point in line with your left hip to the wall ahead of you. So avoid being off kilter. You are actually turning the right hip forward, drawing the left hip back so that the trunk of your body is now facing the wall to the left of you. Breathe in. As you exhale, swim your left arm round and behind you. Now this will make the trunk of your body rotate even further. Okay, and remember the spine has done a twist. Avoid allowing the spine to do all the work. Take the flesh with it. You can even use your hands to help make that movement. Let's take a breath in. You're going to pull up pubis to navel. You're going to lift those hips away from the femur bones. And then exhale, extend forward. You're reaching your right fingers to that wall ahead of you. And then you descend as you rotate the trunk of the spine. Sorry, as you rotate the trunk and the spine. Now you can rest your right hand on your left upper thigh, on your left shin, at the ankle or the floor. Keep the base of the spine nice and flat. So bring your left hand down to feel the base of the spine and check that it's nice and flat. And then reach the left arm up, fingertips travelling up towards the ceiling. You can turn the head and neck on the cervical spine to look up towards the raised thumb. Unclench your teeth and breathe. And when you next breathe in, pull the tummy in, lift the body, rotate, return into that central star position. Nice deep breath in and out. And be aware not to judge yourself harshly if you didn't complete the fullness of the position. It takes time, patience, and perseverance to achieve any yoga posture. Breathe in, lift your toes, turn them to the right. Bring your left hand round to meet your right hand. Bring your left hip forward, draw your right hip back. This will allow both hips to face the wall to the right of you. Okay, so you're facing head on now to that wall that was on your right hand side. You want both hips equal, even. And if that means moving that back leg out a little wider, then do so. You're now going to swim your right hand all the way out to the side of you and behind you. And you can feel that your trunk, your torso and your spine have turned to the right. A nice deep inhalation. Pull up pubis to navel, navel to breastbone. Lift your hips away from the femur bones. You're creating that space. Remember, you create the space to then move into. So you'll now begin your descent, but first you're reaching forward, travelling those left fingers almost as if you want to reach that wall ahead of you. And then you'll lower the left hand to rest it at a point where the position is comfortable. So your left hand may rest on your left thigh, your left shin, the ankle or the floor. Keep the breath flowing, unclench the teeth. Be aware if you have collapsed your stomach muscles, have you let them drop down towards the mat, or are you still pulling them in, back, toward the spine, giving it support? You can turn the head and neck on your cervical spine. Remember those top two bones of the spinal cord, the atlas and the axis. They are pivotal. You can pivot the skull, turn it to look up to the raised thumb. And then breathe in, pull the stomach in, lift and return to a central position. Nice and slowly lower the hands, lower the chin towards the chest, and then watch the rise and fall of your chest as you take a breath in and out. Raise the chin, have it parallel with the floor. Breathe in, bring the hands to shoulder level. Exhale, stretch along the arms to the fingertips. Another breath in, let's lift the toes, turn them to the left. Create the space to your inhalation. Exhale, let's take ourselves into Trikonasana, triangle posture. We're going to bring that right hand down onto our right hip. We're going to turn and look down at the floor, the mat, about 2 feet in front of our left foot. Another breath in, we create space. Exhale, we're going to bend that left knee and place our left hand out on the mat in front of us. We are then slowly going to take the weight of our head and shoulders forward. We're going to start straightening that standing left leg. We're going to stretch all the way through the right leg, the right toe and heel of foot in line with the right hip. Remember as well, if you do need help in this position, you could have a block underneath your hand, helping to get that connection, that support with the ground. You're going to raise your right hand up to the ceiling. You can turn the head and neck on the cervical spine to look up towards the thumb. Keep the breath flowing. Keep the teeth unclenched. And then with the grace and strength that you went into the position, you will exit, coming through triangle, Trikonasana, and returning to that centre star position. So yeah, do remember that with these balances, if you've got a block, they can be helpful, because you can, if you feel that your hand can't reach the floor, you can place it on a block. So let's go to the other side. We've got our hands at shoulder level. We're lifting everything up through the legs. Let's turn the toes. Right heel in line with left instep, so your right toes have turned out 90 degrees, your left foot has turned in 45. Breathe in, make space, exhale, reach to the wall, lower. Remember to keep that left shoulder stacked above the right. We're going to bring that left hand to rest on left hip. We're going to turn and look down towards the floor, just in front of our right toes. Breathe in, pull up pubis to navel, have this elevation taking place internally. Exhale, bend the right knee, place your right hand out in front of you. So this is the time, if you need to, you can use a block or a really thick book perhaps. And then you will gently bring the weight of the trunk of your body and your shoulders and head forward as you begin to step up onto that right leg, straightening it, keeping your left toes in line with your left hip. You then begin to stack that left hip above the right as you naturally rotate through the spinal cord. You can release that left hand, bring it up to the ceiling, turn the head and neck on the cervical spine to look up towards the thumb. Relax the skin on your face. Remember to keep the breath flowing. The breath is your guide. And with the strength and grace you went into the position, you will exit, coming through that triangle posture, shoulders stacked neatly, in line with the hips, stomach pulling in to support your spine as you return to this central position, star position. Okay, so that was half moon pose. We're now going to do the reverse half moon pose. Take it nice and easy. Get to a point that's comfortable for you in the position and just keep practicing there, growing strength at that point before progressing forward. You can always come back and watch the video again. Okay, let's lift the toes, turn them to the left. Left foot turns out 90 degrees. You're going to bring the right hand round to meet the left hand. Again, at this point, you might want to step that back foot out wider so it gives your hips the opportunity to align themselves and both face the wall in front of you. You bring your left hand round behind you and be aware to stretch into both fingertips. A nice deep breath in. You're going to exhale, reach forward, lower. You're rotating the trunk along with a twisting spine as you lower. You then bring that left hand to rest on the base of your spine. Feel that it's nice and flat. Turn and look down at the floor in front of you. Breathe in through the nose. Create space from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Exhale, bend the left knee. Place your right hand out in front of you to a point that's comfortable as you shift your weight forward and begin to straighten your standing left leg. Your right toes are in line with your right hip. Take your time now, move slowly. If this is enough for you, then just practice the position here. If you feel you can go further, you will begin to twist the trunk of the body around your rotating spine, taking it to the left, raising the left hand, turning the head and neck to look up towards your raised thumb. Breathe. And then, with the strength and grace you went into the position, coming back out. Your breath is guiding you. Your mind is creating the strength within you to flow through the movement. Let's go to the other side. Lift the toes. Turn them to the right. Bring the left hand round to meet the right. Separate your feet wide enough apart so that both hips face that wall in front of you. You are aligned with your hips. Your head and shoulders are directly over your hips. You draw your right hand round behind you. You breathe in and create space in the torso. As you exhale, you reach forward as you begin to lower. You're also rotating now as you lower. You're turning the spine and the trunk and the flesh on the trunk of the body to the right. Your right hand raises up to the ceiling. Pull the belly button in and back towards your lower spine. Lend it support. Let's bring that right hand down to rest on the base of your spine. Turn and look down at the floor in front of your right foot. Breathe in through the nose. Create space all the way along your spinal cord. Exhale, you can bend that right knee. Place your left hand out in front of you. Take the weight of your body forward slightly as you begin to straighten that standing right leg. Your left toes are in line with your left hip. Nice deep breath in, creating further space along your spinal cord, and then rotating the spine to the right, taking the flesh on the trunk of your body with it, and then you can turn the head and neck to look up towards your raised thumb. Unclench your teeth, unfurrow your brow, breathe in and breathe out. And then gracefully bring that left foot down to the floor. Return to your reverse triangle posture. Then pull the stomach in. Lift up and bring yourself round to that central star position. The points of the toes, the fingertips and the crown of the head. And feel the energy flowing freely throughout the whole of your star position. And then gently lower the hands, lower the chin, and watch the chest rise and fall for a breath. And then you'll jump, step, or walk the feet in, remembering yoga is good for you. And then you'll bring yourself down onto your knees, a kneeling position. We're going to continue the practice of our aim to get Sirsasana, headstand, the king of all asanas. So we want to ensure that the area of space that we are going to be balancing on is quite broad. Now that means the hands, stretch them out, make them, this is the space, the area that is going to be taking all of your body weight. This and the crown of the head. But you don't want to collapse down at any point. So you are going to bring your hands in front of the knees, wider than the knees. You're going to look at the mat in front of where you've placed your hands, and that is where you are looking to bring the crown of the head. And it's going to make a triangle position on the mat. Okay? So take a nice deep breath in, lift the buttocks away from the heels of the feet, and bring the forehead down to the mat in front of you and gently roll on to the crown of the head. Once you're on the crown of the head, be aware that you have this brightness internally, you have this light elevation lifting up. So you are avoiding collapsing your body weight into your head. You've got this sense of lift coming up. Because indeed, when your toes do finally go all the way up to the ceiling, you'll be taking your weight into your feet. It will be uplifting. Let's turn our toes under. Let's lift our buttocks. And gently, slowly walk those toes in towards you until you can feel that your buttocks and hips are stacked above your shoulders. And as you walk those toes in, they'll get to the point where they just quite naturally want to lift off of the mat. Unclench your teeth. Now let's try putting that right inner thigh on our right upper arm. And then take it off. Replace your right toes onto the mat. Let's breathe in, peel our left toes away from the mat and bring our left inner thigh onto our left upper arm. And then we'll release. Keep the breath flowing. See if you can try and put both inner thighs onto your upper arms. If it doesn't happen immediately, that's fine. Just continue with the practice of trying one at a time. And if you can do both, take a breath in and out with the teeth unclenched and the tummy pulling in to support the spine. And then gently release. Walk those toes back to a point where you can comfortably bring the the knees down onto the floor. Turn your toes under and draw the buttocks down towards the heels of the feet. Let's keep the forehead close to the mat. Allow your arms to rest alongside your body, your fingertips travelling in the same direction as your toes. And then just soften and let go across the upper back and the neck. Take a couple of rounds of breath here, nice long, deep breaths. And then we'll get our chin onto our chest. We'll pull the tummy in and we'll begin to restack the bones of the spine. 33 vertebrae. Once your shoulders are over your hips, you can bring the head upright. You can bring the chin to be parallel with the mat. And then coming round into a comfortable cross-legged position. If you need a cushion lifting underneath the buttocks, then use that. Make it nice and comfortable and feel supported. Just have your hands on your knees. Avoid collapsing down in the torso, allowing the ribs to collapse into the stomach. You want to keep that upward lifting feeling. Unclench your teeth. Close your eyes and be aware of how you feel both internally and externally. You've had a fresh supply of rich oxygenated blood into your head, and this will disperse throughout the brain. This will also travel throughout the body, the heart having grown stronger now, its beat is stronger. It's your heart that pumps the oxygen around your body through a system of arteries. Feel this, feel the new dynamic energy flowing around your system. And enjoy your increased level of energy, your higher vibration that you now have. And have a fantastic day. Happy yoga.